what?
Do you want
Don't forget to blow the dust off.
Order.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, but a big enough stick.
About a week ago, probably not even a week ago, maybe 6 days ago, 5 days ago, I received a phone call from a member of parliament. And he advised me that there are some proposed federal constituency realignment of boundaries. And you've got it in your...
Jeff's gonna pull
I'll bring it up for you,
Jeff's
Council.
going to pull it up.
Let's see if it's still there.
Here's
It is.
his
There you go.
concern. There's a new writing, a new federal writing called Foothills. It starts kind of with Cardston County, and it takes the entire Cardston County, moves it over towards Crow's Nest Pass, Pincher Creek, and goes up as far as High River. I don't remember whether it takes in Okotoks,
Right here, Mayor.
Turner Valley, or not. Okay. Medicine Hat riding would take County of Warner, and he lives in County of Warner. And that would go into the proposed increase over to Medicine Hat.
So here's the existing writing,
Lethbridge.
and then if you click on
Yep.
proposed,
The proposal for Lethbridge would be,
proposed cuts it off here.
the proposed writing boundary for Lethbridge, does it go down to the border?
It goes
goes right to the
This is the proposed
border.
here, this dark line right here is the existing,
Okay,
and this is the proposed. So the town of Cardston, which is highlighted right here, would move from this Lethbridge riding into the Foothills riding, which goes as far north as Highway 1, east or west of Calgary.
Yeah.
okay. So here's the question that the member of parliament raised with me. He would like this council, and here's the problem why we're doing it tonight. From what we've been told, there's an August 10th deadline. We don't have to present in person, but we can if we choose. We don't have to give a written submission, but we can if we choose. We can do either or neither. So, his concern is there's some synergies between ourselves and some communities in the County of Warner. Now, whether we can have any impact on what the County of Warner folks would decide, I don't know. But you see that what that does is that puts the riding of the city of Lethbridge as its own riding with the contiguous boundaries included for the County of Lethbridge. And it appears to go down as far as the border.
No.
No?
No, I don't think the Lethbridge one does.
Well,
Can you pull up,
No,
pull up
Mayor
Warner, Jeff.
Skull,
I'm just gonna have him search Warner though. because
Mayor
it's
Skull,
just
here
showing-
it is.
It's just showing Cardston's boundary change.
Okay,
there, so
yeah,
I
yeah.
took it from the...
Clearly on this,
See, Warner is
Lethbridge,
now going to be that brown there.
Yeah, Warner would join in here, and
join
Lethbridge would be
Yes,
here.
exactly.
Lethbridge is their
Yeah.
own, but Warner would not include Cardston.
Warner is a little gray
Little Medicine
incline.
Hat.
Joins
Yeah.
Medicine Hat.
Yeah,
Warner would go
Medicine.
into, County of Warner would go into Medicine Hat.
Yes.
And the Lethbridge riding, where we are now federally, would be just the county and the city of Lethbridge.
Lethbridge, that's right.
That's all it would be. Now, we can take a position however we want, if we want. But the member of parliament would prefer that Raymond, and possibly, because it appears that they're taking county borders, they're not breaking up counties, they're putting a full County of Warner into Medicine Hat. And his proposal is he'd like to see the full County of Warner come into the new Foothills riding. So I think that the way to do this is to have a motion, then some discussion, follow the motion. If no one's prepared to make a motion, let's have some discussion first.
Okay. If you want a motion, do you want a motion to say that we're not in favor of this realignment? The points that were made here on the quick facts is that they would, to the extent possible, avoid splitting communities of interest. Well, we have more in common with Raymond and the County of Warner than we have with Okotoks. Third, to the extent possible, maintain regional connections. Well, we're more connected to towns in the south as we were than with the north right up to south of Canmore for sure. And fourth, maintain some sort of historical semblance to form a boundary. If anything, we are far from being near what we had. So on 3 count out of 4, we failed.
Okay,
That would be the basis for a letter.
let's do
for
this
sure.
then. I'd like every counselor that wants to give us about a minute and a half or 2 minutes, and then at that point, let's have a motion. So Counselor Smith, what are your feelings? What's your opinion?
Yeah, I think we should just, I think we should see if Warner wants to come in with us or whatever. Actually, I don't even like how that goes way up into the foothills there. I mean, that's brutal way up there.
Well, and if
We
you go
have
over,
absolutely no.
if you go over to
Pincher
Medicine
Creek,
Hat,
As far as Pincher Creek is.
Medicine Hat's writing goes up to Oyen. It's
Yeah,
just,
well, exactly,
it's
that's
just,
right.
but that's the reality. See, it's just nuts. Counselor Edmonds?
I don't see any benefit to the change whatsoever.
I see less benefit, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't
Well-
think we would get any better representation by changing the boundaries.
I agree.
Well, but, yeah, who knows what their rationale is. They have a formula for plus or minus, and I think it's
4%.
110.
4% of population that try to create ridings are within plus or minus 4% of each other. So it's population-based, not really interest, historical,
1,000 per
or whatever.
Yeah.
So that disturbs me a little bit.
It does not look, okay, Counselor Adele.
I would prefer that we stay as we are with the southern Alberta communities. Otherwise, we'll be more orphanage than we are now.
We're not represented
Okay,
well.
but now, remember, does your comment reflect your displeasure with taking us out of the Lethbridge riding? Or you want the smaller communities to stay together?
I like the small community to stay together, I
Okay,
think.
okay. Marion?
Go ahead with Council.
Counselor Creed?
Okay, what I see, I'm just going to reflect on what I see, first of all, is that, you know, the federal government wants to realign them, you know, because of population. What I see is that them doing this without any consultation, and this bothers me more than the way they've realigned it. That they're saying, well, here's, you know, they're looking at a map and they're looking at population numbers without any consideration for, you know, what groups have similar interests. And I'm definitely in favor of protesting without consulting the communities, without consulting and trying to find out what communities do have similar interests. So, you know, if they've got to change it, you know, on some population basis, that may be okay, but I think it's got to be done with some consultation with some people, with the people, and that's what bothers me the worst.
But if I could, Counselor, I'm not sure that it's any different than us as a town council passing first reading, knowing that we're going to go to second reading, and then we're going to go to third reading.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I see.
well,
a lot of difference there.
and maybe that is right. I don't know if this is like first reading or not. I don't see any consultation here. This is what I'm saying is that yeah, we should.
But often we do first reading without any consultation.
Well, first reading is only first reading. It's not a done deal
I
yet.
made my point, so Counselor Court.
Based on Councillor Cronin's comments on points 2, 3, and 4, we've got a leg to stand on. We got 3 legs to stand on, actually. So I would use that as a basis for our phone call, our letter writing, whatever it might be. We definitely have much more in common with more culturally and religiously everything else with the smaller communities down here than we do with Canmore.
I think we go with things like historically,
Yeah, well, that's all mentioned
culturally,
right there.
and
Yeah.
all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, because of the time, I mean, this deadline is the 10th, which is Friday.
But I believe that you can also respond on their website, which means that could be attached. You know, a letter can be sent as an attachment directly to their website.
Okay, so now,
If we cannot do it any other way.
here's the question then.
What do we want?
What do we really, aside from having possibly County Warner to come this way. And obviously, County Warner is going to have their own opinion on that.
So,
Have you spoken at all, Marion, with Scott Barton on this?
No, I haven't. But my perspective of this is, it's not so much the issue of should the County of Warner be included, but I think our economic and our
It's the interest.
demographic synergy is with the current riding.
Yes,
You know,
totally.
with the city of Lethbridge. For us to be included with Okotoks and High River,
Makes
how
no
do
sense.
we have someone who can represent such a diverse population
An economy.
and diverse economic base? That's more my concern.
Yeah.
Well, and I see your point and I agree. But I guess looking at it from the federal government's point of view, within the city and county of Lethbridge, they've got their 110,000. So how do you slice that pie into another 110,000 plus or minus 4% riding?
Okay. 4%, 4% of 110,000,
It's 4,400.
4,400. We are 3,500, so let us be in there.
But now just a minute,
for the county,
but just a minute.
and the graph.
Do they take it with Sterling and Raymond? There's 4,400 as well. No,
Well-
actually, that's 5,400 probably. What do you?
This, I mean, I think first of all, what we can do is express why we do not agree with this. Now, that we can offer them different point of views, different story, because they might be able to kind of look at it from their perspective, and maybe they will come back and say it has to stick the way it is, but we can still let them know we don't like it.
See, it's difficult when you talk federal ridings, because if you go over to the McLeod riding, you could take a riding that goes over, gee, how do you get 110,000 people if you're going to throw in Claresholm and Fort McLeod, which are going to stay in its own riding, I think.
Well, maybe the 110,000 is where the problem is, you know.
Foothills is federal, McLeod is provincial riding, it's a little bit different.
No, but you see, the federal riding has Ted
Is
Menzies.
Foothills.
Ted Menzies
It's Fort McLeod.
is the Fort McLeod riding.
This is my concern, Mr. Mayor, if I might, is with the limited amount of notice that we receive from the
How can we
MP on
make
this,
sense?
even the questions being asked tonight, how do we present to them a united front when we don't even really know what the total implication is? And you know, he's given a suggestion in his letter what we may want to respond with, but I don't know that that's where council sits.
Okay, so let's go back to Councillor Creed's position, Councillor Cronin's position, which I think kind of gel and mesh there. And Marion, I think you've touched on it. So we need to create a letter saying simply that on such limited notice, and we've only had barely a week prior to the 10th of the month, that we need a more extensive consultative process, plus summer is not a good time to go into some consultation.
Yeah, see, because here they've got Fort McLeod in that foothill riding, right? But Crow's Nest Pass would be considered in our,
Fort McLeod would be in the Bow River riding.
oh, sorry, in the Bow River.
Yeah,
And Crow's Nest Pass, High River,
I know it when this,
would be in our riding.
Here, yeah, this is chunk.
Does it look like Fort McLeod and Claresholm and Manton and Vulcan, did they swing over
they're in Bow River.
into that Bow
Bow
River?
River,
It looks
yeah.
like
we
it
have to
stops
turn
at
down.
about Nanton
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
north, yeah, and then heads east.
I mean, I understand the desire to be more equitable representation per population, but I think there are other considerations also that we cannot eliminate. The fact that and they even put them there, second, third, fourth points, and that truly in doing that, none of it applies to us, and I find it odd. batting 1 out of 4 is not very good.
Well, okay, so what if we do this?
Throw home runs.
What if we direct administration to craft a fairly generic letter of opposition to the shortness of notice, not allowing us enough time to even digest, fairly and equity evaluate, and
what does it mean for our representation?
they've broken up a lot of existing ridings. And the other thing that happens is any of these ridings that are broken up are going to go to a nomination meeting.
Well, exactly right.
And
I would have no idea. I mean, it's a democratic process, I appreciate that, but that's not very democratic in its making.
So, council, what are your thoughts? Do we want to direct administration to craft a letter, like I mentioned a minute, Councillor Court?
I want it more than generic, though. I wanted to bring up points 2, 3, and 4 in that letter that they're
Okay.
that their own website,
That's
and their own
right.
talking about right there.
Okay,
I mean, they
Having
give
done
us
that,
a point.
they've ignored points 2, 3, and 4.
That's right.
okay.
I mean,
So-
point 1, we get it, we totally get it, it's very visual, but
Now-
2, 3, 4,
So council, do you want to receive a copy of the letter via email
yes.
in the next 3 days prior to sending it off on the 10th?
Send it.
So why don't we have that, so at least we
I'll
can,
have to do it tomorrow.
so we at least can say here on any,
Oh, and I forgot, I was gonna tell the
there's a
gathered
power
group that there's a power
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
The 10th is Friday, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll CC you on the email I send, is that all right? Do you trust me?
Oh,
We
don't
trust
worry.
you.
We'll put it over the mayor's signature, so he would have vetted it and he'll be responsible.
That's all right.
Okay, so, I think we had an excellent meeting tonight with the folks regarding Fortis. I'm getting closer to my personal decision on this.
Oh, man.
But in all fairness to the electrical, to the public at large, to the electorate at large, I feel very good about a September 4th meeting. So,
Thank you. Want a motion to adjourn?
do we, any loose ends to tie together? I'll take one last motion.
Somebody else can.
We're adjourned. We're adjourned, thank you.
You want these back?